So if you guys watched some previous videos, we decided to drive all the way down to South Carolina to pick up the doors. We found a local Jeep group down there. This gentleman, he was an older guy. He ordered the dual door group with his 392. Decided he tried to remove one full door and was like, no way, I'm never going to swap them out. So they were brand new in the box. And the nice thing about the 392 dual door is that they come with proximity as well as the blind spot. So they were the fully loaded half doors with the premium uppers, and they were in black. So I figured if I was either going to wrap them or paint them, black interior would look perfectly fine if I decided to wrap them. Fast forward a little bit, if you guys watched the previous video, we decided to disassemble those pretty much down to the bare bones. There was a couple pieces left like the carrier and the latch assembly, but besides that, we removed everything ourselves so we could save some money at the paint shop. If you guys want to check out the disassembly video, be sure to check in the comments. We'll pin it at the top comment. And if you guys want to use that to help save you some cash if you get them paint matched, definitely use that video as a resource to help disassemble part of the doors. Now I can tell you I've already got them fully assembled downstairs. They're ready to go. They're sitting there. Besides, the hinges aren't on yet, but we're ready to put those things on. But I wanted to talk a little bit about the paint process. So Lidditz Collision called us and said, hey, would you guys like to come down and film this process at all? Plus, we kind of need your Jeep so we can get an exact paint swatch and scan it a little bit. So Ryan picked up the phone, said, yeah, we'll be right down, grabbed my Jeep, and he went down by himself. Now, he was actually in the paint booth with the full 3M mask on, and he had a great time with the gentleman that actually painted and did all the body work on these doors. Now, the first step, what they kind of started with, and what I really liked about this shop, is that they brought the Jeep down. So they got the Jeep down and actually scanned it that day to make sure they could get a perfect match and also see what color base coat to use. Now, when you're painting a door or an item for a vehicle, depending on what the final color is, that base coat is extremely important. They can use black, they can use white, there's grays, there's different base coat colors that help that exterior color really match what they're going for. But they decided to fully sand these things down. They got them completely scuffed up inside and out, and they were ready to get them painted. Now, with Ryan being down there, he actually had a chance to talk with them while they were completing the entire process, and good old Dirt Road Cred made them dust off some of those yellow paints that they probably never had to use before. You guys know the automotive industry is full of blacks, whites, and silvers, burgundies, all that stuff. There's not as many bright colors in the Jeep, and plus the biggest thing, we couldn't order them from the factory with high velocity. So we had to pull a bunch of different colors, really match them the right way, and that's where that computer scan gun really came into play too. So he was able to scan the Jeep while it was physically there and really get a perfect match. But it was really neat to see that, and Ryan showed me all the clips of while it was happening, for them to actually get all the paint mixed up, get it through the filter, really clean it up, and put it into those brand new guns. Now, I can tell you, I was super excited as he was sending me teasers throughout the day, because you go from a black half door that really didn't match the Jeep at all, and it kind of looked like a bumblebee, to starting to take life into the perfect color match. I don't know if there's anyone out there with high velocity half doors, so this might be one of one. Now, the one thing that Ryan did during the day was kind of mess with me. Luckily, I knew what was going on. He sent me a shot of them painting them in white, and he's like, oops, they decided to paint them white, or hope you like white because that's what color they're painted in. Now, I knew that that was the primer, but it kind of made my heart drop for a little bit. It's really cool to watch that whole process. So getting the primer on, taking the time to do the full inside, the full trim underneath where the weather stripping is, that's why I decided to strip these down and get them painted. When I reassembled them, they look exactly like they would have come from the factory, and I gotta tell you, that's the look that I was going for. When you open up the door, when you put the door panels on, everything matches up perfectly. The cool thing that I saw too, so while they were actually disassembling the half doors, getting them sanded down and painted, is I noticed there was something a little bit different than full doors. So they actually put the hinges on afterwards, and there was full paint underneath. So I know we're gonna do a video here soon talking about the corrosion issues with the hinges and some of the JLs that are facing, and quite frankly, JKs, TJs, YJs all face the same issue. But it was neat because the half doors aren't painted at the factory, or a subsidiary of the factory they're painted at. So the Mopar Custom Shop, from what I'm hearing online, is who actually paints them. And I'd imagine it looks like they paint them and then put the hinges on, but they're all fully painted around. We matched that same project, or should I say Lidditz Collision did, and they painted the doors and then painted the hinges separately. So when we put them back on, we have a layer of paint separating those, which should mitigate any issue in the future of any sort of corrosion or those bubbles trying to come out and really destroying the paint there. I plan on running these half doors completely throughout the spring, summer, and fall, so they are gonna see some wear and tear. They're not gonna have to see the salt or anything like that, but they will get their fair share of usage. That's what I like about this Jeep, is now I have the option of full summer and full winter mode. But watching this process, it was really, really cool to see. So they had all the doors hung up on stands, and then what they did, first they put that white primer down to really encapsulate everything and make sure that it had a good base coat and a good way for all of the new paint to grip onto it. So they got that all on, fully white, did the hinges, did everything with that. And then the cool part is it almost looks like you're taking a highlighter and marking some notes in a book. They put that high velocity yellow over that fresh white base coat. That was so cool to see. And in the video, while you guys are watching that, watching the high velocity go across with that white contrast in the back really makes it pop. And it was so cool just to have that being done. You know what I mean? I love to kind of get high quality parts and get things back, and seeing them paint match was just something, it was out of this world. Now, I'm a diehard Jeep enthusiast, so getting something that the factory wouldn't do, but still having factory quality is what we were aiming for in this situation. Now, the nice thing too, Ryan being in there, he was able to capture shots of everything. So after they got that full high velocity yellow coat on all 4 of the doors and all the hinges, which were on special brackets, they decided to do a nice coat of clear coat on there. The cool thing with this whole process is that since we were able to strip it down and it's not a wrap and it's not a cheap fly-by-night paint job, is that they could get the whole inside and the entire door trim. I don't think personally I could have standed it if we got just the exterior shell wrapped, and then every time I opened the door I would see a cut seam or I would see all the black even on the inside. I figured this is the way to do it. I plan on keeping this Jeep for a very long time, and I'll tell you, these high velocity half doors you couldn't get a hold of, so we decided to make our own. Once they finished up the clear coat, we let it cure for a few days, and then came the call, hey, doors are ready to be picked up. We got everything back together that we took apart. The hinges are separate, but take them home, get them assembled, and we're ready to throw them on. It was an extremely fun process to watch, and then getting them back, I would say, was the most nerve-wracking process, because now I've got 4 beautifully painted, 1-of-1 custom half doors. Now I just can't scratch them. So I had blankets, towels, moving blankets. I borrowed my son's blanket that he used in his car seat and even wrapped those around, because I was like, heck no, are these getting scratched up on the way home? Plus the clear coat's a little soft even for a few days afterwards. Well guys, it is now time to turn the Jeep into summer mode. So it's about 74 degrees out here in PA. I can tell you the next week looks like a mixture of hot, cold, and a lot of cold again, but I'm gonna pull the hardtop off, pull the 4 doors off, and get these fully installed. The last thing I have to do is just put the hinges on, so I was waiting to the last step to do that, get those bolted on, and get them onto the Jeep. I'm super excited to show you guys the final product, so let's go down, we'll get those on, and check them out. Well guys, what do you think? I know me, I am extremely ecstatic to have these on. We waited a long time to do this, so they've been sitting up on my door hangers, waiting to get taken apart, waited to get painted. It's a beautiful day here in PA, and I am so excited to get these down to Daytona. This was like the final, or one of the final steps to getting ready for Jeep Beach, one of our first shows. And when you're down there, you want to make sure that you got the top off, you got the half doors on, and you're just really cruising and enjoying the beach. I will run these all summer. So these are going to stay on the Jeep. They're going to be run all summer, and I cannot wait to enjoy them. The color match on here is just about perfect. It is so hard to match the high velocity color, and you guys might see it a little bit different on camera because that's a little bit more, dare I say, picky than the human eye, but they are very, very close in person. And honestly, this Jeep is a little bit dirty, so once we clean it up, we'll be able to really dial it in and make sure that it is perfect. So huge shout out to Lidditz Collision. They did a bang up job on these, and I am extremely excited to have them back and get them on a nice, beautiful sunny day like this. But this is a 1-of-1 Jeep Wrangler now. We've got the high velocity doors, the half doors, and the dual top group, so this really is a rare Jeep. And honestly, I'm so excited to roll around in it. But let me know in the comments what you guys think of this video. I thought that this was a really great opportunity to show off what you can do with these, paint them, and get them matched for your Jeep. Definitely hit that like and subscribe button, and be sure to check out our website. We've got some merch up on there, and we're gonna have some new t-shirts and other merch up here very soon. Check us out in Daytona and at all the shows, and if you see me, don't be afraid to come up and approach us. We've got decals, we've got some cool giveaways for you guys. So definitely, if you see us out and about, stop by and we'll definitely crack a beer and chat with you. Until next time though, my name is Matt with Dirt Road Cred, and I want you to get out there and earn yours.